see. Just gonna wait a second for it to load. Okay, hi ladies. We are live from Tel Aviv. It's 2 p.m. I'm so excited to introduce you to the first person who really inspired me back in my 20s to first start sexing up my veg. So this is Lawrence Perez. She's going to share with us her secrets on what kind of oils and nuts and seeds, spices that she recommends you use to sex up your veg. She's going to talk about how to store herbs, which I know was a big question for a lot of people in this group. And we're also going to talk to Joe about that when we go to the veggie facility next week. Lawrence is going to tell us why dishes we make should not only taste delicious, but also look delicious. She's also going to share with us her eating journey, which led her also to cut out processed food and eat 8 to 10 cups a day. So we've got lots of stuff to talk about. It's very exciting. Just to give you guys a little bit of context, so Laurence was my roommate back in my 20s when I first moved to Israel. We lived together for many years. She's really my soul and salad sister. We traveled and cooked together. We dieted together for many years. And she was actually in the room with me when I gave birth to my first child. And she was the first person that I asked to help me launch Sex Up Your Veg because she just knows this stuff like inside out. She's a mom of 2. She's an interior designer, and she's a sexy veggie chef in her own home kitchen. So hi, Laurence. I'm so happy to have you here. You've been such an inspiration to me from the day we moved in together in 2006. So I'm so excited, to have you. I mean, you've taught me not only about eating healthy, but also really about how to make veggies delicious. So hi.
Hey, so first of all, I'm very happy to be here with you. I think this group is amazing. It connects us, all women that are having the same issues, and we want to go to the same target together, and we are sharing to each other recipes. And for me, it's a pleasure to be here and try to share with you as much as I can, as much as I know, and to also get from you as much as I can, as much as
I am getting so inspired from this group. Every day I get a new recipe, and sometimes I just get somebody put something on the group, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I love bok choy, right? And I haven't had bok choy in like a year. Somebody mentioned miso. I went out and bought miso and made miso salmon. This is, honestly, getting incredible inspiration.
Yeah.
So Laurence, you were born in France, and your parents were born in Morocco.
Yeah.
And I know that your mom had like a huge influence on you in the kitchen. So can you share with us like what the food culture was like in your childhood? What kind of foods did you grow up on, and how did it influence your cooking?
So I'm coming from a Moroccan family. So Moroccan family usually are a big family, lots of sisters, brother from my mom and my father's sides. Lots of aunts that are going to be cooking and inviting. So for us, when there's like a family dinner, it's huge tables, can be 20 people in the table. So when the person who is hosting is going to invite people, there's going to be always lots of salads to begin with on the table. So it can be even 15 types of salads. Each salad would be very invested with spices, with different types of oil, with different types of herbs. Really, like each salad has its own personal touch.
Its own personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Its own personality. So for me, when I grew up, just by being exposed to that, it opened up my eyes to such a variety of different types of everything, nuts, herbs, sausage, combinations of salads. So just to begin with, I had like a very good point of start. And because I grew up also in France, so I have my French natural influence of what I've been looking around and seeing, like whatever people are eating in restaurants and the culture of the French food. So just to begin with, I think I'm already have like a big knowledge. My mom doesn't cook only Moroccan. She likes to cook every type of food. So she can be cooking Indian and Thai, and she likes to research on different types of food. And I feel that it's not just about like researching the type of food that was an influence. It's also the fact that she was actually trying to come up with new things. And since She was like working as a facial care for many years. She was even taking vegetables and fruits and different types of nuts and oils to try to create those natural combination of skincare products. So that's also something amazing. And
That's incredible.
yeah, that's
I mean, your mom, like, I happen to know Laurence's mom very well because I used to come to your house for Shabbat dinner. Like, you were
yes.
like my adopted family, really.
Exactly.
And I mean, I'm telling you, like, the spreads that her mom used to put out were so fascinating because every salad really had its own personality. Every dish looked like from the eye, it was beautiful. And she always really focused. What I thought was so interesting was she always really focused on natural food. So
Yes.
everything was like really healthy, and she always used fresh ingredients. There always was herbs and everything.
Definitely, and she likes to make her own things.
Yeah.
So she's the one who's been teaching me how to make the almond milk, how to make even like I don't know, maybe like it can go to like I'm into nuts in my mind, so it can be butter, almond to do it by yourself. Everything is like she tries to take ingredients and make out of this something more than what it seems to be like the normal use for it.
I think your mom is like a farmer's market, just in one person. Like she knows how to do like everything that you would go to a farmer's market and get naturally,
Yeah,
but she knows how. Yeah,
definitely. If
she's
I have a
really.
question, I'm gonna call my mom or my aunt, and like those two persons that I relate to. What can I do with that? How can I mix those things? And there's always like I'm learning constantly. It's a never-ending process, honestly.
Hi, Alana. Alana says yes, all the different salads. It's like its own meal. Ah, Alana's husband's Moroccan. Okay.
Ah, so she
So
knows exactly.
exactly. So you know what we're talking about, Alana. I think I'm partly Moroccan now because after living with Laurence for so long. Okay, so just to give some context, so I moved into Laurence's flat in Tel Aviv when I was 25 years old, and I remember the first day I walked into the kitchen, I really couldn't believe what I saw in the cupboards because I mean, it must have, like, I would open drawers and there would be like 10 versions of oils, like argan oil and hemp oil. I had no idea what those things were. The nuts, seeds, dried fruits, and spices cupboard was stacked to the brim. Like, I actually had no idea what these things were or what to do with it. And I would open the fridge and she would have herbs like neatly folded in paper towels, like inside the fridge. I didn't know what was going on. So, can you tell us, like, let's talk about your go-to oils that you always have at home, and what do you use them for?
Yeah, no problem. So first of all, olive oil is the basic of everything that I do in the kitchen. Obviously, we try to take the extra virgin olive oils. So just to understand that oils, there's different types of qualities. If the quality is good and you invest on a good oil, the taste is going to be so much different. So
just yes, and I want to just say something about that because today I literally went out of my way to order an amazing aged balsamic vinegar to my house because I can't stand these like crappy balsamic vinegars. This is my salad dressing. Like even if it's expensive, I'm going to invest in it because I'm not buying other things in the supermarket. Like this is, the one thing that I have in my house that I know that I'm going to use on my salads like on an everyday basis. And I think it's worth like to sometimes invest a little bit more.
Definitely, especially when we talk about vegetables in general, lots of people are going to be like, vegetables are boring, it's very hard. But in the end, the secret for a good salad is the dressing and all the spices that we add, the nuts. So when you take those ingredients, they need to be in a good quality in order for the taste to be also like perfect, because in the end, if we're eating 8 to 10 cups a day at least,
let the food taste
good. Exactly.
I agree with you.
So let the food taste good. Let's us enjoy about like what we see, which is also something very important. But so I'll just said about olive oil that it's something that you must have in your kitchen, obviously. I have maybe 6 or 7 types of oils, and for me, they seems to be all essential because each oil is going to be a very good combination with something else.
So let's go through them. So we've got olive oil. Give me the next one and tell me what it's essential for.
So I'll say for me, but definitely everyone with his own taste. But I love hemp oils.
Hemp oil.
Hemp
Okay.
oil. So first of all, it's very, very healthy, and it goes very, very well with all the greens, vegetables. So it can be with like just a salad, like lettuce. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be amazing. It goes very well with fresh salad. So there's like the fresh salad when the vegetable is raw, and there's the cooked salad when we put it in the oven or we steam. So hemp oil goes very, very well with all the salads that are going to be fresh
Okay.
and that are going to be kind of summery. That's how I call them. So that's amazing. We have avocado oil that I love cooking with. So if I need to even like stir fry spinach, so I'm not going to use my regular olive oil. I'm going to put on avocado oil. So first of all, it's like I'm adding flavor to my dish. And in terms of like healthy, it's much healthier to cook with this type of oil. So that would be my second oil that I'm going to be cooking on. It's going to be like always coconut and
Avocado.
avocado. I love sesame oil. I
Me
think
too. I love
also
sesame
it's like
oil.
delicious, delicious. It has a strong flavor, so you don't need to put much of sesame oil in order to have like an extra touch of
Exotic flavor,
exotic
right? Yeah,
flavor.
it's
Yeah,
very.
so I love that. I think it's amazing. And then I have argan oil, which I know it's a bit hard to find a good
You can
argan.
order argan on iHerb.
Yeah, but argan goes very well with tomatoes, red pepper, eggplants. It's delicious, 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 and it's very healthy as well
Can
in
you
terms
tell
of
us
like.
where argan oil comes from? Because I don't. Maybe some people don't know what argan oil
So
is.
argan is a nut. Is a nut. So in Morocco, they're actually doing it in a way that it's going to be all manually, but they're taking those big jars, putting nuts, and they're like actually, kind of grinding
It
the
reminds me.
nuts.
We went to Morocco together, and we actually went to go see an argan oil
Yeah,
facility.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
It was
that's
amazing.
amazing. And this oil, because I feel that it's like a very special oil, and I use it for salads as well that are more fresh. I can also put it on, I did a post on pepper, how you can take the pepper and roast it in the oven. So all the salad with a roast pepper or even tomatoes that are made in like on the pan, you add on top of it a bit of argan oil, and it it changed the dish from being just simple to being like delicious.
Guys, these are the sexy secrets I'm talking about, okay? Over here, she knows all of them, so pay attention. Okay, so we've got the argan. So what's next? So we said olive oil, hemp oil, avocado oil,
We have
argan
the
oil,
grape oil,
grapeseed oil.
as grapeseed oil are definitely the one go if you want to bake something. It's delicious for baking, even for stir frying. It's good, but like if I need to do like something that would be bake and there's gonna be oil, always that's the type of oil that I'm gonna use because it has a very sweet added flavor, and in the same time it's very neutral, so it goes with everything. Really, like that's number one for baking.
Okay, and what would be the next one?
Uh,
I feel like you're missing walnut oil. Yeah, you
Walnuts,
always have walnut oil
obviously.
in your
There's
fridge.
truffle, there's walnuts,
Truffles,
which
another
are
world, yeah.
amazing. As walnut, it's also delicious with everything. But I love to use it when sometimes I don't want my salad to be with so many nuts, but I still want to get the taste of the nuts.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
instead of like having
Makes
both of
sense.
them, I'll take my nuts oil and I'm gonna give up on the nuts, but then I'm gonna add some fresh fruits in my salad. So that gives me a variety of flavors and also a variety of vitamins and minerals that I can get from different sources. So that would be like my first one. Truffle oils,
I love
it's
truffle
considered
oil.
like expensive, but
Yeah.
it's also worth to be
Invested in.
in because it's in terms of culinary aspects, it's if you look at the chefs around there online, they're gonna always have this type of oil. It goes very well with raw fish. If you have like a raw fish instead of, if you want to switch from the olive oil and you want to have something different, so this one is going to be the one you're going to be using. in terms of amount, go with small
Yeah.
amount. It has a very strong flavor, and so I think this flavor needs to be like, you need to learn. But I would start with even a quarter or even half of a spoon when you put it in the dish. It goes very well with eggplants.
And mushroom as well, right?
And mushroom as
Mushrooms. I always
well.
like to use truffle
Yeah.
and mushrooms.
And when I put truffles, I always take care to have lots of green leaves. Any type of leaves. It can be parsley, it can be coriander, it can be even green onion. You call them
Scallions.
scallions. With basil, even with oregano, it goes very well. All green leaves when you put truffle. It's very good.
So, guys, I want to give you a mindset shift here because, a lot of people might think, well, you know what? Truffle oil is so expensive. What was the other one? Was there another oil that we talked about that was expensive?
The argan.
The argan oil might be expensive.
Yeah.
An aged balsamic is going to be expensive. But you know what? As I like to think of, all of this cooking in the kitchen and the veggies, the mindset shift is that this is our self-care. It's our number one self-care to eat vegetables. And we don't want to eat boring vegetables. We want to eat sexy vegetables, right? So you know what? The next time you have a birthday coming up or a Mother's Day or whatever where you know that your partner's going to be buying you a gift for something, just give him a list of all of these oils and balsamics and whatever you want in the kitchen that you wouldn't invest in yourself.
Definitely.
Even a good cooking pan. And don't think about it as why should I have to use my gift up as something for the kitchen for the family. This is for you. When you fall in love with vegetables and you use the right things to the right tastes and flavors to really make them delicious, you will never go back, okay?
Yeah. There's something, just one tiny thing I want to add is that when I do my dressings, I always combine 2 type of oils and 2 type of vinegar or lemon/vinegar. So it also adds lots of flavor. And since we've been talking about those oils that they have a strong taste, it's a very good combination to take a neutral
Can you
oil.
give us an example of a neutral,
So the
vinegar that you would add with an oil?
Let's say I have 2 types of oil. So I'll take maybe the olive oil, which is the one that most of us will have home. And if I decided on buying one that I invested, as I'll put maybe one full teaspoon of the olive oil and then another half teaspoon of the oil that you decided to add. So it can be the sesame, it can be the hemp, it can be even the truffle, the nuts, whatever oils that we have. Try to combine them like that, and you'll see it's such a different results. In terms of vinegar, I also use lots of vinegars. If you see my kitchen, it's floating from bottles.
I've seen it.
So we have the white balsamic vinegar. We had the red one. I also use lemon and lime, which I consider to be in the same family. In terms of the balsamic, we also have a type of balsamic that I don't exactly know how we call it in English, but you're probably gonna know. It's the type of balsamic that they are cooking it, so it comes
caramelized.
Exactly, it comes with a sweet taste.
Mm-hmm.
This is also delicious. I can post a picture after of the product because I don't have the name in my mind right now in English.
Is it the crema? That's what you're talking
crema,
about?
yeah. It's a crema. The texture is not the same. And this one we're using for decoration. And obviously it has flavor, but it gives a beautiful touch.
That's
the end
basically
of decoration.
It's the same kind of thing as the aged balsamic, but the crema one, isn't it kind of a little bit? I thought they add sugar to that one.
I guess it depends what are you buying, but if you're investing in a good brand, so everything is natural.
They just cook it.
Yeah, or they're adding extra of fruits, but everything comes from a natural ingredient. They're not adding white sugar or something like that.
Okay, so what about if I was to open up your cupboard right now at home, what nuts and seeds would you have in there? Give us the top ones, the ones that we need to know.
Okay, so
we can't live without.
I love, if I don't want to think too much over my recipe, exactly what am I going to put, the type of nuts that I'm going to use are going to be pumpkin nuts.
Pumpkin seeds.
The pumpkin seeds, so they're green. There's going to be the sunflower seed, which goes amazing with everything. There's going to be the pine, which are considered,
Pine nuts are delicious.
yeah, are delicious. So the pines, the almonds, both of them are delicious. You just need to put them on a pan, cook them for a few minutes without anything else, so they're gonna get like a crunchy, and the color also is gonna be kind of like, and it makes the all huge difference. It's beautiful also to decorate a plate with those kind of nuts. It adds colors and it adds a texture that we didn't had maybe so far. So obviously textures are also essential with salads, because we always want to try to have few different colors, few different flavor, few different spices, few different textures. We want it to be rich, but not because we added things that are not in our 8 to 10 cups. We just want to take whatever we have and add some natural things to make it very rich. So it can be cooking it differently and kind of like taking zucchini that are cooked with fresh cucumber, two different type. Always think two different type.
So, okay, but to go back to the nuts for a second, on the nuts and the seeds, so what else would you add to that list? I'm thinking walnuts you need to have at home.
Walnuts,
Sesame seeds you have to have at home.
Sesame, there's two types. There's the white, there's the black. They have different flavors. You are going to learn how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, just go with the color. If you have, you want your dish to pop up with a lighter color, put the white one. You want your dish that is already kind of like dark to pop up with a lighter color, go with the white. Just go with your instinct about it.
I know I threw sesame seeds, white sesame seeds on my miso salmon yesterday, and wow, I'm telling you, I mean, I literally thought I was like a Japanese chef. Like, I didn't know it was possible. The miso was so good. The salmon came out perfect. Amazing. So, okay, talk to us about spices.
Spices. So my, beside salt and pepper, that is like probably what everyone is using, my number one is sumac and turmeric.
Yeah, you love turmeric.
Yeah, turmeric. First of all, my mom taught me how to do the turmeric fresh. I'll ask her to maybe post like notice like how to do it step by step, so you can have the recipe. It's very easy, very quick, and also the taste is like such a different taste. Like really invest in quality. So we have like the turmeric. Turmeric can go well with everything. It's very hard for me to give you something specific, because sometimes I'll put my turmeric in my yogurt. That if you're using like almond yogurt or something based on like by
yogurt,
pudding,
yeah.
Like I consider it to be like the yogurt, because for me it looks like a pudding. It's white. For me, that's my yogurt to go. So I'll put turmeric inside. It can be on my salads. It can be on carrots. It can be on sweet potatoes. It can be on even like, I would try even like with the kale. I never tried, but definitely I would try.
So you're basically saying you would try turmeric on almost anything.
Anything.
I put sumac on my eggs the other day, and then I tasted, because I only found out about sumac from Melanie, the chef, on this group, and then I licked my finger to see what it tasted. It tasted like lemon candy.
Sumac is delicious. Also, it adds a color. Again, I'm always about like how it looks.
It's a beautiful color.
So
it's a beautiful
beautiful color, and the taste is like exceptional. You cannot get this taste like in general. If you want to have spice, the taste of spice cannot be replaced or switched with something else. So you always have to have a spice in order to make it special and delicious. We have the cumin. Cumin is delicious. Even if you make an Israeli salad, it seems to be like very like cucumber, tomatoes. Add cumin, it's gonna jump the flavor to another level. You can add, if you're into the cinnamon. Cinnamon also goes very well on the vegetables, more cooked vegetables, not raw vegetable. It's like, because the taste is dominant, so in the oven or when you cook it, the flavor is going to go and melt into the vegetable, and it's not going to be something that you're just putting on top, and when you're taking it with your spoon, your tongue is going to taste the flavor straight away. No, you want it to be mixed with the ingredients, so it's going to become like one thing and not like two different tastes that are touching each other. Paprika is delicious. Sweet paprika and the chili paprika,
the hot
paprika. Both of them goes very, very well. For kids, not using hot paprika because they don't like, but they definitely like the sweet paprika. So you can put paprika. I'll give you a super simple dish. You take onions that you're gonna chop, put on a pan with a bit of oil, can be avocado or coconut, a bit of water because you don't want it to get burned and you still want to cook it, and then you put turmeric. You can put sweet paprika. Cook everything, put on top of this a fish or chicken, and let it cook for 5 minutes on each side. The dish is gonna be amazing.
Can you just elaborate on that? Because I think, I think we learned that when we were traveling. So we took cooking classes, local cooking classes in Morocco, in Thailand, and in Costa Rica. And we learned things that, like, I'm not sure, maybe I didn't know before, maybe you did, but what you were just talking about, like, when you fry onion and garlic in the pot, and then you add the spice to the onion and garlic, if you let it sit there and you mix it around a little bit, that's what brings the flavor out.
Exactly.
So the spices need to go and sit on the onion and garlic for a little while before you start adding other stuff. Yeah.
So if you're asking the real Moroccan, she will tell you let it sit as longer as you can. If it's 1 hour or 2 hours, the more you let it sit, the tastier it will be. Now, if you really do it and you don't want your dish to dry, just add water, slowly, slowly, slowly. The water, first of all, it absorbs a bit of it, and second of all, the spice get mixed with the water and gets into the food. So the ingredients that you're going to put in the pan are going to become one ingredient. It's going to be like everything's going to go inside of the food. It's not just going to sit on top of it.
That's what gives those like really intense flavors. Like when you go to an Indian restaurant, that's like, I remember at that local Indian class, like that's what they did.
Exactly.
I want to add a few of my own that my go-tos also is having red pepper flakes, shallots, dried shallots. I absolutely love. Yes. I use them all the time in all of my cooking. And this one is going to go on your list for the birthday because it's very expensive. It's called saffron.
Yeah, saffron.
If you can go and get like really small amounts at like a market, if you do it by like ounce or whatever, or you can go and buy it, prepackaged. Yeah. But if you want to do something really special, like cook an amazing dinner and really blow people's minds, this is something I learned from I lived in a very Persian community, so I'm very familiar. It's a Persian spice, and it is absolutely delicious for chicken and many other dishes.
Spices like saffron that you are not using every day, you need to store them in the freezer. Not the same. If you don't use it every day, store it in the freezer. Because in the end, those types of spices, as when they are grinding the spices, the taste is very fresh. If you let it sit in the closet, slowly, they're going to dry. In the freezer, it keeps everything. So whatever you don't use, put in the freezer.
Okay, so one thing I learned from you about food was that it shouldn't just taste delicious. It also really needs to look delicious. Yeah. Now, Laurence is an interior designer. She's very into the aesthetics. But I think that came from your family first, right?
So first of all, people who are looking at the pictures of just the nature or the architecture of Morocco or dishes, it's full of colors. So I've been really inspired by that. Just a colorful plate, it's an inspiration. So for me, when we eat, obviously it needs to be delicious because that's what we are targeting, that the food's going to be good. But if you can have, if you can work on the fact that you're going to invest on the way your dish is going to look, even before you started to taste the food, with your eyes you're going to be blow-minded, because just to look at this beautiful piece of art that you created on a plate, it's going to give you such a huge added value. People, just before tasting the dish, looking at it, they're going to be like already in love with that. And for me, colors are life. It means like it's joy, it's happiness. So I want to add happiness, I want to add life to my dishes. So I always try to combine colors, and that's how I actually created like new flavors, because you just need to go with your instincts. Add colors in order to take a dish that looks probably simple and add to it a huge different perspective. So definitely colors in terms of flavor and in terms of the way it looks, is going to be a huge added value to whatever you're going to be doing or cooking.
I also think that, um, when we started to make like really delicious food that looked amazing too, it's something like, you more appreciate the food, and so it's in front of you, and instead of just like gobbling it up, like I don't know, like I used to eat my food so quickly,
Yeah.
I started to slow down and like really enjoy
Yeah.
every bite and
Yeah.
really appreciate like the art of what was on the table. And I feel like I felt more satisfied
Yeah,
also.
so obviously it's really connected because again, we're like taking those elements that they are to begin with very colorful, but we need to be creative in order to make it something special. So when you invest in the way it's gonna look, first of all, you're gonna spend a bit more time. So just the fact that you've been investing out of your own time to make those things beautiful, you and yourself, you're gonna really appreciate your creation, whether it came out on the spot amazing or whether it came out like that you could fix some things. Because when you're investing in something, so naturally the result is going to be something different than if you just didn't invest in it. So investing in your dish is very important. Now, when you give a lot of love to your dish is going to give you love back. That's the way I see it. And eating is not with our just with our mouth, it's we're eating with our eyes. It's very important that when you look at something, it's going to look good and you're going to appreciate it. So I would say we're not talking about like half an hour, we're talking about few seconds of adding those things that can make really a huge difference. And you're going to learn through the time what do you like and what you don't like. But if it looks good, it's like it's a win-win situation for everyone.
Double the pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you a tough question then, because a lot of people on the group are going to say, okay, and I feel the same. Like in our 20s, right? We used to like put music on when we cooked. We used to reconnect after a long day. We would spend time together. It was fun. There were no kids running around, right? We could literally like spend as much time as we wanted because it was we had that time. So what would you say now to, like, for example, moms that are in this group watching this and saying, you know what, that all sounds amazing and I wish I had that time, but I have kids, up my butt, like grabbing at my leg. Like, how am I supposed to like even think about doing this kind of stuff?
Okay.
Like, how do you do it as a mom of two? Because we're both moms of two.
Yeah. So I'm every day I'm very, very busy. I actually, when I come back home and I need to cook for myself or for my family, I have limited time, I would say, because in the end I need to provide food to the table. So if I already work in the kitchen, I want it to be fun. So I'm always putting music on. So first of all, to have music in the background gives you the energy to start doing whatever you want to do. So if we're talking about chopping, just like chopping, like, and it's quiet, okay, it can be fun. But if you have music, you can actually enjoy this moment, and it's also a moment that you're going to put the music that you love the most. No one's going to be there to tell you that's not what we want to hear, because it's your moment to invest in yourself and in what you love. So for me, if I like cooking with a tank top and the music and opening the window, everything, I will take everything that is around me to make this moment a moment that I enjoy, and I don't feel like I'm obligated to provide to my family. So that's the time for me to create. So I'm creating myself an environment around me that I love, which is my favorite music, and by my mood I will change the music. It's like investing on the dishes. So I'm going to create an amazing dish. I'm going to invest on the flavors that on the moment I decided that that's the flavors that I want to invest in because that's my mood. And I'm going to enjoy everything. If you take everything that we talked about until now and you combine them in one moment, and this moment is like the moment you're going to be cooking or cutting or doing whatever you want to do, I'm sure 100% you're gonna enjoy it million times better than if you just like kind of putting yourself and there's nothing around there to come and
If you
be
go
a
in with
part
an
of the
attitude of like you
experience.
have to do it and you don't want to do it, then
Exact.
it's gonna suck. But
Exact.
when you're absolutely right. I always play music. I'm always, opening the windows, getting fresh air.
Yeah, even change your clothes, wear something comfortable, wear whatever you want. Like if you feel like you want to be like, with your hair up to chop, as do it. If you feel like you want to be with your hair down, do it. Just think about yourself and how do you like to feel at that moment. Put yourself in the best environment possible so you have all the cards with you to be a winner on that moment.
So I just want to give one tip about that, like specifically around the kids, because it can be really hard when you have like little kids running around the house. So, I have no shame when it comes to like my self-care in the kitchen. I will tell my children, I have a 6-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, that this is my time right now to make everybody in the house delicious food to eat, for myself, for my kids. And I just say, this is my music time. This is my chopping time. You need to find something to do right now to keep yourself busy for about 15 to 20 minutes so that I can get what I need done. And, many times they're able to do that, especially if I have music on, because we have like an arts and crafts table next to the kitchen. So my son, starts doing his drawings of ninjas. My daughter, she likes to have her Elsa dress on and she pretends she's Elsa running around the house. But if the kids are, too much, so I put on a show for them because you know what? This is my time and I will not give up this time for anybody else, even my kids, in these 15 minutes because I know how important it is for me.
I think also that's an amazing way of thinking, and most of the time I'm like that. But sometimes I do feel that my kids really want to be with me, and I know that no matter what I'm gonna say, they're gonna be there with me. So I'm trying to actually take my kids and kind of like play with them around food. So it can be
That's
questions.
good. I
So
like that.
sometimes the music is not so loud. It's like kind of like low music that we can still speak. And they see me, let's say, cutting cucumber. So I'm gonna tell them, can you open the fridge? What do you see? What are the vegetables? What would you want to add to the cucumber? And that's how also I get to new experiments with food. I'm always kind of like trying to share, and if you're trying to share a moment with someone that you feel
For
that
sure.
anyone, anyway, it's not going to help you, it's going to be there. So try to involve your kids. And in the end, my daughter, when we go out and we buy something like sweet for her or something, she knows. She's like, "Mommy, but you don't eat chocolate. But mommy, you don't eat those things." And I'm like, "Yeah, like at home, I don't eat those things because that's what we have. That's how I brought them to think that they need to be interested in food that is healthy, and it's not just interested, they need to learn about it." So I'm telling my kid, sometime my daughter Leah, I tell her, you know that when you put vitamins in your body is shaking and dancing inside. And then I'm telling her, show me how is your body dancing on vitamins. And then she's going to dance next
Oh,
to
I
me.
like that. That's
So
a
that's
great
like
tip.
amazing.
I love
Yeah.
that. I usually like don't have patience for the kids when I'm like in the kitchen. Like I don't want anybody to bother me. But I'm gonna try that because
Yeah, it's very nice. It's like a nice
have
game.
them help. Like
Yeah.
Daniel, he can peel carrots, and I mean he's been doing it in the past. There's no reason why
Yeah.
I can't invite him into the kitchen. I like that. All right, so last question. So we both went on an eating journey, right? Until we got to the point that we cut out
Yeah.
like processed food and started to eat 8 to 10 cups a day, which both of us had happened to around the same time. Only if I remember correctly, around 2.5 years ago, right? Like I know
Yeah,
I started it right after
yeah,
Aria was born.
exactly.
So can you tell us like a little bit, because I know people heard my story, they haven't heard yours, and I think people want to know like how and why did you get to a place that you're eating 8 to 10 and you're not eating processed food anymore?
Okay. So for me, first of all, I've been always into veggies, but I never counted what is the amount. So I just realized
But
it
also,
after a
was it?
certain
It
while.
wasn't the primary focus of your plate,
Exactly.
right?
And for me,
Because
it
now we
was
still don't count, but like
no,
we're
no, no.
eating primarily veggies.
So I was never even like checking what do I put in my mouth. I just knew that I was eating lots of vegetables, but I did add like side effects on me. So if people look at the pictures of me before and after having dairy, so you will see
You can
that.
see that on Instagram, by the
Yeah.
way. Laurence looks like she's 4 months pregnant. She had some
Exactly.
cottage cheese and she took a picture before and after. Why? Because you had a lot of digestive issues?
Exactly. So I have lots of digestive issues. I went to a few nutritionists. I've been trying things by myself as well. And from everything that I took was that in the end, it's very particular. So the nutritionist told me try to take off from whatever you're eating every day, each time, one thing. So I started with the dairy because there's lots of people around that have issues with dairy. So I took off the dairy and I actually felt so nice and so light and so good that I understand that dairies are not going to be a part of my days,
Your diet.
about my diet. Like, I mean, like sometimes I'll go out and if there's a bit, I'm not going to be like, extreme about it. But at home, that's the rule. I'm not eating those types of things. And then I still felt better, but first of all, I felt better, so I wanted to feel even better and better. So I decided to continue on researching like what could make me feel better. And I took off lots of things that were, I would say, that I would buy kind of ready. So now I'm not eating bread because I felt that bread actually is very hard for the stomach to digest. So I decided to take off the bread and see how do I feel. And I actually felt much healthier in terms of like I was lighter, I had more energy. My body, if I went out, stayed exactly the same shape in the clothes I was wearing. It's not like suddenly I had to open up a button because I was, like, which used to happen to me a lot. I was sitting and like, felt like I'm not gonna breathe, and so all of those things I tried take off a few elements that were at the beginning seems to be very 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 hard, but since I enjoyed so much the other things, I feel like I've been creating like a huge balance in like what I eat. Also, there's like something about being addicted to certain type of food. So when you take off something from your diet, since you're addicted, it might be very hard in the beginning. You might feel like you want it, even if mentally you don't want it. So it takes a few days for you until you're actually going to be able to clean yourself from those types of foods.
It's a detox.
It's a detox. But when you take those things out of your diet, you don't need them anymore.
You also don't want them
and
anymore.
You don't want
you
them
just
anymore.
Don't want them.
Exactly. For me, when I took off those things, I felt so light and so good. I used to go like, I'm embarrassed to say that, but I used to go like once a week to the bathroom. Now I'm going every day to the bathroom.
That's amazing.
So you can imagine.
So you're eating primarily vegetables. You used to only be able to go to the bathroom once a week, and I can attest to that because I used to live with her, so I know how much she suffered. And now you're going every day?
Now every day, yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's for me like a huge change. So in the end, when you want to take care of yourself and you want to do something good for yourself, you just need to listen to your body. You just need to listen to yourself and stick to it. And eventually you're gonna, it's not eventually, 100% you're gonna enjoy it because the result is worthing much more than if you just like not doing those things that makes you feel good.
Yeah. All right, ladies, I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to let you know Laurence is helping me run the group, as you already know, and we're really thinking about like what kind of content we want to bring, what kind of content do you guys want to get, what are you liking, what are you not liking. You can drop all this stuff in the comments, and we'll read them, and we're taking it all very seriously. As you know, we've already had a culinary nutrition expert. Alana was with us. We've had Lily, the holistic nutritionist. We are going live with Joe from the Veggie facility next week. We're still working on the day, hopefully Sunday. And we're also going to be going live with Rachel Hartman on Tuesday to do some Asian veggie cookies, because Asian veggie cooking, because that's my favorite. Yeah, right? Like the Asian veggies are incredible. So we are going to look at how to make miso eggplant and carrot ginger dressing and so much more. So it's really fun stuff. We're really enjoying it. So let us know what else you want to see. And look out for the rooftop party invite because we will be sending it out soon. All right, ladies, thanks for joining us. Bye.